Tuvalu, and welcome back to Doctor Who, Season 2, Episode 11, Fear Her. Well, I've just remembered I really need to get the Season 3 thumbnails commissioned. But today, I am joined by my brother Caden.
Hello.
And as I might have said already, I don't remember, honestly. Today, we are going to be watching Fear Her. Probably the most hated Season 2 episode. At least in terms of consistently, certainly. We're loving monsters. A lot of people love it, you know. I don't know if anyone loves Fear Her. Plenty of people like it. I'll be honest. I think it's fine. Like, I don't hate it nearly as much as, like, the next person. I don't even think I hate it. It's got some good bits. It's got Council Axe Guy. You'll meet Council Axe Guy.
Council Axe.
It's not the newest missing episode. Because, like, literally yesterday, they pulled 2 Fourth Doctor episodes from iPlayer that were written by the same guy. So presumably he didn't want the rights. So I would once again like to campaign physical media. Although they're only halfway done with Classic Who on Blu-ray, so you might not actually be able to buy those episodes on Blu-ray. But you will within the next 4 years, you know?
In time.
So this episode, Caden, I don't know if you remember anything about it, but you know how last episode when Elton went to Jackie's house and like stomped on her heart? You remember that part?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. This is basically the sequel to that, so it's like it makes sense that they're both kind of disliked. Where Jackie Tyler basically kind of like snaps. You know, we never saw Jackie after let Elton go, and she basically gets fed up with like Rose abandoning her, with all these people, because this actually happens like every other day. Like someone like Elton comes along and like takes his shirt off. Yeah, I mean that wine spilling thing was really the Hearst. You could tell it was actually
she's used to that. She's done that before.
I don't know if you got that, but she meant to do it, and so she basically goes on like a John Rambo murder spree. Right? It's like, even though she's in London, she still gets, like, heavy ordnance, you know, like, as if she was in a South American, is in the south of the U.S., you know, like, just all that stuff. And she basically attempts to take over the world. And she gets real far. Like, it's kind of there's this weird duality where, like, she's doing all this John Rambo stuff, but she's still just, like, a random single mother from 2007 London. Because Doctor Who takes place in a year in the future. You know, don't worry about that, though. The show forgets about that. Even to this day. Right? Side 10. Remember how, like, Rose in episode, like, 3 goes to a year in her own future because the Doctor misses? We're still forgetting about that. Yeah. 24 years later. 20 years later. Because, like, Donna has, like... There's some shenanigans with another character named Rose that mess up the dating even further. And you literally, it's constant. Amy and Rory have this issue. The head of unit meets the Doctor for the first time after meeting like 3 doctors. It's, look, it's messy.
Well, so I'm assuming people must be afraid of
Jackie?
Jackie.
Yeah, well, you know, Jackie's a real beloved
character.
That's where
it comes from.
Some people feel like Jackie going on like a terrorist murder spree is a bit too far. But I think there's entertainment, you know, in watching this single London mother somehow get away with all of this. Because people are just too afraid of her, you know? No one challenges her.
Okay.
So that's, of course, the fear her. The her in the title is Jackie Tyler.
Jackie. And the fear is not yours, it's everyone else's.
No. Everyone is. I mean, Jackie's also a little afraid of herself, but she uses that. She uses it. Yeah, it's.
It sounds like it's gonna be a great episode then.
Oh yeah.
Can't wait to see this rampage.
Yeah, it's exactly the kind of episode that's great to talk about and imagine, but it would like suck. You know,
2 episodes in a row without the Doctor in season 2.
Well, he comes eventually. You know. Even the Doctor's no match for Jackie, you know.
Oh,
he almost regenerates. Yeah, it's like
wow,
it's a big deal.
This is gonna be big.
He just regenerates into David Tennant again though. So, and then the new David
Tennant's
just better.
A lot.
Yeah,
okay.
He's got like a slightly better chin.
Boy, I can't wait.
But yeah, if you don't know what we're doing, I'm sure you know even less now. We're basically, actually, I forgot I was going to do this. Caden, why don't you tell him what we're doing? I didn't tell Caden I was going to do this, but you've heard the spiel like 30 times, so.
Yeah, well, So basically, guys, if you don't know what we're doing, we're recording a live audio commentary over Doctor Who, watching through the Modern Who
You
series.
are peaking a tiny bit on your audio.
So basically, I've solved this.
There we go.
What we're doing is recording a live audio commentary, but for legal reasons, we can't just stream the Doctor Who video and audio. So it's bring your own video, but we'll be playing a blurred version in the background so you can keep up and keep time. However, there is a slight time hiccup in the playback speeds of Doctor Who. Don't ask me; it's a rabbit hole. I can't get into it, and it boils my blood. But different versions of Doctor Who stream at different versions, which are, if I remember correctly, 4 to 5% quicker. So depending
about
on which
4,
version,
and
4%
I think it's
quicker.
slower, but oh well.
Slower. Depending on which version you have, you'll notice that we get out of sync as we go on. But in due time, the description will have information on all of these. And we learned 2 weeks ago German Amazon speeds, but I can't say I remember them. I think it's the same as we have. So if you're watching on German Amazon, you're going to be fine.
Everyone, just use your VPNs and go to German.
Yeah, go to Germany. You might get out of sync, but the blurred background.
No, we're starting. No. We're doing the spiel.
You can get back on with that. There's going to be a countdown so we can all sync up together. My dear friend here is going to say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. We all play on go, and then we talk about it as we watch the episode, and all have a wonderful, good time.
Brilliant. Only real mistake. I'm impressed, man. You've done it better than I have.
You did really good for the first half, I feel like.
You didn't mention if you're watching it live, we're going to watch the American version. As we usually do, the American broadcast. That's what German Amazon has. The bastion of quality, as we all know. I find it's the real Amazon. Like, I always use German Amazon and import everything, even if it's coming from, like, the distribution center in Spokane. I just get it from Germany anyway. It's actually real hard to watch shows in German, but I do find it's worth it,
I think my intro was pretty good.
Yeah, but no, Monique Wombat in the chat. We're going to give maybe another minute or two just for people to get set up. And then we will start the episode. That's right. It's daylight savings in America. Whoops, again. So we have an extra hour in the day, and we have chosen to burn that hour watching Fear Her. Because why not?
Invest.
Oh, yeah. I'm also running a 3D print in the background. I'm printing a War Turtle Pokeball. Ugh. I should really stop eating right before these streams. So if you hear me go like, oh no, and then I have to run away, that's what's happened.
And I'll talk about sunflower seeds if you run away.
Yeah, I'll go like, emergency sunflower. Hopefully I don't miss like the best scenes.
I really appreciate the long-running bits that we have in this stream only being funny to us. No one has any idea.
I know a YouTuber where they stream with someone a lot, and whenever one of them leaves, they read the YouTube terms of service, like a random, or like the British highway code, some like dry, because like they're usually on someone else's channel, and then they like try and make it as boring as possible so people leave and it tanks their channel. Yeah.
Now, I try to give the people what they really need, which is my sunflower seed opinions.
Yeah. Is there anything coming up before we begin? I don't know if I have any announcements. It's already daylight savings time. I think we're still
Happy
good.
Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
We're a little late on that.
It was amazing. My Star Trek watch along synced up so that the Halloween Star Trek episode, yes, there's a Halloween Star Trek episode, would have been the last Saturday before Halloween if the new Star Trek hadn't come along, so we had to do that instead. So instead, we're watching the Halloween special in January. I think the appropriate time for a Halloween special. Yeah.
I'd agree.
Halloween starts after New Year's. Where's my crew?
A new year is scary,
Yeah, it is. Older. It's real scary. It's an election year, There's a lot of tension. Speaking of which, I need to remember to fill out the ballot today. I meant to do that early. I know most of the candidates I'm voting for, but there's some stuff I have to look into.
Fancy.
Yeah, make sure to vote if you're American. If you're not American, I can't tell you to don't vote in your country. Just don't. Don't do it. Your election system's just worse. Bam.
Right.
Don't do it. But if you're American, vote. Please vote in your other election systems that are definitely better than our election system.
Right.
I think we should get started.
It's a exciting one to jump
if
into.
I can hit the right buttons. Yeah, fear her. We'll see what you think about it, actually. It will be interesting if you really hate this episode. And
We'll
as
see
I
when
said,
I remember.
the worst... actually, last week I said the worst part about this episode is Matt Smith. That might be the second worst part about this episode. There's like only one thing I really don't like. But that's a tease, because we'll get to them when they show up in the episode. There's a weird Moffat-ism in this episode.
Okay.
So yeah, there's the tease. As Caden said, we are going to be doing a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go countdown on go. Everyone's going to hit play, and I'm really going to hope when my printer switches from blue to black real soon, it's not going to fail at the start of the episode. I've got a little camera in the corner. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. German Amazon time. There we go. Man, that white is bad for reading the instructions in the video. There we go. You see my favorite character on the street there in the yellow jacket. They're good. They're good. That's actually the end, I think, of their appearance in this episode. But they really did the role well. I think it was well cast. Couldn't imagine anyone else. See, that one didn't even show up for the filming. Here we get introduced to Chloe Weber. So here's the thing, I think. The reason I think people really hate this episode. And there's a lot like it. It heavily involves a child actor, right? Chloe Weber. I don't know the actress's name. And a lot of people just really hate child actors, and they don't like anything with like a child actor in it. And I think this is one of the many episodes that people don't like just because it's got a child actor in it.
Yeah.
Who, I'm fine with it. I mean, they're a little wooden, I guess, but I'm fine. What is that lamp? I'm gonna call it a lamp. Did you... That orange torso thing? As I was desperately looking for anything to talk about in that moment of silence in the show, thankfully that lamp appeared.
I was at IKEA the other month, and they had a human head lamp. It was really interesting.
I've got a mannequin head somewhere. I don't know where it is. I thought it was behind me, but it's not, so who knows. I forgot to mention, this episode also takes place in the near future, in the year 2012. And actually, if for some reason you're still watching the stream and haven't been able to find this episode on iPlayer, it features some famous BBC News guy, or at least at the time of recording it does, who did a bad. We'll say that. I don't remember the guy's name. But the BBC pulled it from iPlayer to basically redub the audio, so it's not available in the UK. So buy physical media, as I remember to actually change the audio settings so Caden and I can hear it.
Yeah, that did a lot.
I did remember to turn the subtitles on.
Beautiful.
Friendly reminder too, if you're someone who struggles to hear the dialogue over the music for this era, I recommend trying to mess with your audio settings. In VLC Media, I have to change it from headphone to stereo, and then it's fine. Oh, see, I love this bit. We need more scenes like this, okay? Parks the TARDIS.
Yeah, it's a good bit.
Brilliant! And then he just leaves and comes back. 10 out of 10. If I was writing the gag, I might have him land like somewhere totally unrelated, then they just have to leave. Like they never landed on that planet because he parked sideways. I also just love to think the filming of that, like they had to get David Tennant in the TARDIS, like forklift it in or something.
Yeah, they had
film
to do
the
that.
scene, get him out. Brilliant.
What?
What?
How do I phrase this question?
Okay.
I don't know. It's very. I want to see the street that they were on.
Oh,
When,
in the Idiot's
this one.
Lantern, yeah. This is just what London looks like. You know,
Yeah,
American
it just looks
suburbs
good.
have
Yeah.
like the same house everywhere. This is just London. Go to Google
In my
Maps.
American head, it's the same place.
It might be the same place, but go to Google Maps, Street View, anywhere around London. Just plop down, it'll look like this. We'll learn that as you get through Doctor Who. You'll get a sense of being British, you know. The other day I complimented my wife's jumper, and they gave me a look like, jumper? Missing from Stanford. That's gotta be a location. Oh, duh, Stanford's an American college. I got confused and thought for some reason this little kid went to Stanford and went missing. Is it just me, or is this one opening a little slower than some of the previous episodes?
I feel it.
I wonder, I don't know who wrote it. I don't think it's Russell T Davies. I'm gonna pull that up. If only there were credits that could tell us this stuff. Matthew Graham, a name I do not remember. Here he is. Here's Councilman. He's my favorite character. He makes this episode.
It's working its way back through my memory.
Yeah, they tend to. Don't put your hands all over that guy's car window. Come on, man. Is this what the council pays you for? Is this why I pay my taxes?
Your British taxes.
Yeah. Back in the day, I wasn't sure if, like, as an American, I would pay council taxes. Like, do I pay the city taxes? Is there a district I pay? I don't know. Because Washington doesn't even have, like, a state income tax. Mm-hmm. I basically just pay the federal government, and that's it. So yeah, I literally learned more about British tax than I did American tax through school. Sorry, they renamed it. That's the one thing he uses to cite, you know? I assume this is a real street, so when they actually had the Olympics in 2012, I really wish they had ran the Olympic torch down this street, you know? Because again, this is made by the BBC. Like, the government makes this. So, you know, they have a say in where the torch goes.
No, this is real. Olympics were going through there, and they squeezed in Doctor Who filming.
Well, they might have. I know the Doctor Who part of the Olympics wasn't here.
That's a real worker. He's just complaining.
Monique Wombat. Suburbs themselves can be very eerie, though. Sometimes they feel void of character. Oh, yeah, because everything almost looks the same. When we were looking for houses, we found a development where it was like one house, and then there were two others on either side, and we're driving up, and we're like, no. Like, no, we need a unique house. But yeah, I'll address it now. It is kind of disappointing, because it's cool they did an episode on, like, the Olympics, which was coming up. It was, like, a little under a decade away. 6 years? Yeah. But, like, why... I wish they could have done more to make it like what the actual Olympics was. Like, the torch doesn't look like the Olympic torch. The reason I say Matt Smith is the worst part about this episode is they did actually get the Doctor to carry the torch in the real Olympics, but it was 2012, so they got the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith. And I was like, ugh. I get it would have been like a bit of a middle finger to Matt Smith if they got David Tennant back, but like, could you do both, you know? It's still the big cultural thing of Doctor Who, like, you know. God, I don't think there's any reason for Chloe to be putting her hand on the window. Maybe the director just likes smudgy windows. It's a fetish or something. It's bothering me. You don't do that. As an owner of windows, I own many windows, some of them new. You don't do that.
Oh, that's close.
Actually, I'm going to look more into who wrote this, because the Doctor is kind of weird in this episode, but, like, in unusual ways, you know? Are you seeing it?
I
Like,
think
he did...
Yeah, I think I see what you're saying. To me, with my lesser Doctor Who knowledge, it feels consistent enough for the character.
I mean,
maybe
he's
having
not
a fun day.
out of character. But he did the weird thing where, like, he's just sitting silently with the hands, and he's, like, sniffing a bunch without even making a joke or explaining himself. There's a bit coming up later with some jam that really sticks to mind that I'm going to call out. But, let's see. This was written by Matthew Graham. Oh, that's interesting. So the writer of this episode has written 3 episodes for Doctor Who. This, then Way in the 11th Doctor, The Rebel Flesh, and The Almost People, which is a 2-parter. And actually, it makes sense that he didn't feel out of place when he was writing for the 11th Doctor. Because 10's leaning a little bit into 11 for this one.
I'm picking apart the background of this set.
Oh, wait, that is the torch. Is that what the Olympic torch looked like? Yeah, you pick around the background. I'm going to Google Matt Smith Olympic Games real quick. Matt Smith. Although it's funny because that's what the Olympic torch looks like in my head for 2012. But not what it actually looked like in real life. It looked bronze. And I had them mixed up in my head because Doctor Who is life.
I really want to make fun of her computer password, but they won't show the other corner of the monitor where it was written on a sticky note. But I couldn't read it quick enough.
It's 2012. I don't know. She's like 6.
She's got to be older than 6.
No, that's a 6-year-old. Trust me. I think we get that cat person joke a few times. We get it with Martha, I know. It's like, nah, I've met cat people. You're nothing like them. 10 out of 10. We need that cat sound effect more often. In fact, I think it needs to be in the intro. Bum ba dum, bum ba dum, bum ba dum. I knew you got it. You got it. He's as someone, you know, as you put it with more of that Doctor Who knowledge, he kind of feels like the 11th Doctor, but like with all of 10's mannerisms. Maybe I'm just set on this sort of, you know, narrative I've already set for myself, but yeah, look, that's a 9-year-old's magazine in the background.
9, you've bumped up 3 years.
All kids that aren't like babies are 9. That's how it works. You're like a baby, then you go to school and you're 5, and then you're 9, like forever. You would know.
I would.
Yeah.
This is a totally different street.
What even is this? Is it like the apartment mansions? British people, Londoners, what is this? Where are we? Please explain. Because it's like apartments, but flats are basically like apartments anyway. Maybe these are like what Americans would consider apartments, and the flats are just bigger. Because flats are kind of like a mix between duplexes and apartments. at least, you can trust me. I'm an expert. I've seen Doctor Who. Yeah. Everything I know about flats, I've learned from The Lodger. Well, you've seen Ruby's,
Yeah.
Yeah. People really hate this scribble monster,
This
right?
is, I just
I think it's fine. It's exactly
familiar.
what it is. It's also, I referenced it when we watched The Devil's Chord because it reminded me of the music notes where it wasn't really
Oh
there.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
here, I feel it makes more sense because it's literally just like a scribble monster.
Yeah. It's remarkably loud. Got jump scared.
I think, all right, maybe you can correct my memory. What it is he's got like all the knowledge and stuff that the 10th Doctor usually has, and he gives that knowledge. But he's like utterly clueless to everything going on, really, other than that, right? Like he knows it's ionic energy, but he picks it up, he's like, yeah, I don't know. And I feel like that's not really a 10th Doctor thing, usually.
Yeah.
It kind of bothers me when we're in the TARDIS or this TARDIS. You get the like settling even after it's been landed for ages. You know what I mean? I think it's a land, then it settles for a bit, then it stops.
I
Like,
don't know the difference between
well,
my TARDIS noises.
what's settling? You can hear the creaking and stuff, right?
Well, I mean, it's live, right? It's like a just
Okay, I'll
inner
give you
body
that
noises.
logic. Yeah. I don't think it works because like it never used to do that, and it doesn't do that in the future. And like, why would it being alive mean the walls breathe? But I can appreciate the logic. I can get that.
I try.
I mean, the ambience we play before the streams doesn't have the creaking, not like that constantly. Like that as well. That I like it. It works. It's just not the sort of strategy he usually would employ.
Yeah, I think I see what you mean.
Like he's not out of the character. He's just doing some stuff that's like, huh, you never really see that in
Yeah.
another episode. It's almost weird we don't see it more. Like maybe you would complain if it happened all the time, but every now and then. Like there's definitely episodes where I think it would have made sense.
So far, I like it. They're setting up some mystery. Good.
It's a little bit of a nothing burger. It's kind of establishing atmosphere, but it's just like a modern London suburb, so there's only so much atmosphere. But it's not bad. As I've said, I think this episode's fine. I'm trying to think why the mother is actually afraid of the kid. Like, surely she doesn't know what's going on. I don't know if you know what's going on yet. I'm not going to spoil it, but...
She got threatened by her kid, like, 5 minutes ago.
What parent doesn't? Like, surely Chloe was a toddler at one point, but it's like, no, like, what are you going to do?
It was like, I'll draw you. And her mom was like, ooh.
So maybe she does, but I guess it's just like, oh, wait, no, we do get stuff later. Okay, never mind. I think she does have enough to suspect what's going on, but like, that's crazy talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a crazy framed picture right there.
Wonder if there's any kids who watched this and then got like real upset because they thought when they drew like their parents or stuff that they were like taking their soul or whatever.
Ooh, we get room shot.
They drew a lot of that cat. Oh. I mean, the drawings are like plot related, but other than that, good kids' room,
Yeah.
I'm a little confused on the age, perhaps, but it's mostly the magazines seem a little old. But it was 2006. Maybe you just got more magazines back then.
She's got to be at least 10. That's my read on it.
You didn't like 9. You judged me hard for 9, but she's 10.
Well, because you said 6, then you jumped to 9.
Did I say 6?
Yeah.
Who knows? Same thing.
At least 10.
Like, I think she's supposed to be wooden. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Leonard Nimoy couldn't even do that.
Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying. I feel like there's 2 ways to play the character.
Chloe or the doctor?
In my head, yeah, or Chloe.
Okay.
And it's like, yeah, you can play it as this really wooden, stiff, just like...
Well, she's under some form of influence.
Gone.
So,
Yeah.
like, there's... She's supposed to be not quite herself. I get that impression. Yeah. And so I'm like... I feel like she's doing what she's supposed to, but a lot of people just hate child actors. Maybe there's some sort of autistic face blindness thing going on here as well, where, like, I can't really appreciate a lot of the little things good actors do. I
like it. Nothing behind the eyes kind of attitude.
Yeah. Gonna shout and scream in terror, but then I'm just gonna, like, keep calmly looking and walk in there, you know? As you do. Whoa, who's that kid with, like, the square nose? Did you see that one? The doctor's looking at? Right there, below the alligator. Was there an alligator walking through the street one day?
Yeah, no, Chloe did a good thing. Saved the neighborhood.
Yeah, Chloe.
Got rid of the alligator.
And look at those spiders.
Hero.
She saw some spiders in her room. Draw them. Bam. There's also a car there, so she must have drawn that one real fast.
Oh, that was freaky above the doctor's head.
Yeah, the creepy, like, black and white one.
Tim Burton. Ugh.
Do you think she looks at those magazines across her room and is like, are those actors in there? Or is that a normal picture? She's got some pictures on that wall of drawing. Like, are her friends in there too? "2007. Do you think somebody saw the moving portraits in Harry Potter and then wrote the episode?" Oh my gosh, that bird.
Moaning Myrtle. I just started watching them and got a good idea.
I mean, Harry Potter has been around for a while, 2007. I think we're getting close to the end of it. I don't know. Or maybe they just had a kid, you know. Here's the scene, right?
Oh.
Why would the doctor just do that? Like, he knows. This is the first instance of a trend we're going to see starting with Moffat, who I just like to say, I like Moffat. But, of the doctor just doing, like, weird stuff that he would know is wrong, but seeming oblivious to it.
Yeah.
Someone's pointed out to me, even now, the doctor's, like, 900-something years old, early 900s. He's probably lived among humans longer than any human who ever lived. Like, just his off and on travels on Earth. He probably should know humanity better than anybody else, but...
Was there, like, a clueless doctor in the classics? Because, like, I think that sounds funny, but you can't do it now.
No, even one, like, the first doctor, I don't think was clueless. He wouldn't have been, like... And I'd like to say, unintentionally. A lot of doctors put a facade of, like, you know, being clueless. The second doctor, the seventh doctor. Even the first, like, one might have not had a lot of nuances, but the first doctor, they didn't even know if he was an alien or not, right? So he can only be that unusual. But it's really the 11th and 12th doctors. It doesn't, like, ruin the character. You know, there's plenty of others. I think 11 has it a lot more. But it kind of becomes a joke of, like, Doctor doesn't understand humans for some reason. Also, the 11th Doctor at one point doesn't know which one football is. Like, really?
What just happened there with the doctor's?
I
We're
think
just
he's gonna say.
magic.
Well, he put her to sleep. He's got semi telepathy, you know. I think
Remember,
he's done stuff like that before. Remember when he went in
yeah, he
Renee's
put the grill in
mind?
the fireplace.
Yeah.
Feels odd.
Uh, no. I mean, I think we've had it. I think you're forgetting some cases in modern Who, but even classic Who has some semi telepathic stuff.
Hmm.
Straight up hypnosis is just a thing in Doctor Who as well. Harry Potter's around for ages, but so is Doctor Who. And I really was disappointed in uni how most people knew Harry Potter, but not Doctor Who. When did you go to uni? Because if it was when Harry Potter was big, like around now, I think it'd be like basically equally popular. Like 10th Doctor, early 11th. Where are you, Unique Wombat? Are you in America or the UK? Because I would be especially curious if, like, Harry Potter was bigger than Doctor Who in the UK to that extent. As you do. You know, I've never really thought about it, but the thingy inside Chloe here is looking for like a pod or something. And she's kind of drawing that pod right now. I don't think we're ever given a reason why she can't just draw the pod to summon it and then like take it out of the drawing. Because she can let go of the thing she's drawing. Like, obviously, at the end of the episode, they're going to do that. But, started studying in 2016, but you live in Germany. Oh, you're the German Amazon guy, aren't you? Yeah. Yeah, that makes more sense. 2016. Is that Capaldi? 2016? That's how you think of time. It genuinely is. I have to sometimes, when someone has a year, I kind of have to work through who the doctor was, starting at Eccleston.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the plot's fine too. I don't have anything inherently against it. I think I get it. Yeah, nothing insane's happening in this episode.
I feel you could condense these 26 minutes down to like 10 and not really lose anything. That's the problem. And we haven't had that council guy, though. He's the best part. But we're gonna get him. Look at, see that jiggle acting? But perfectly still head? They don't teach you that at the Academy of Acting.
It's natural.
Yeah. She should be the next doctor. In her current age as a child.
Oh, by now, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well. No, that age. They need to de-age her. With that Disney money. Forget if Shruti Gadwa like dies tragically, just get child Chloe in to play him. Well, that seems reasonable.
What a great mother.
Actually, here's a bit thing I've never realized about Rose, because she also lost her father.
Oh, yeah.
And so Rose is actually, we might be learning some stuff about Rose as a kid. Mm-hmm. You know? $4 billion? That's the exact population of Earth, probably. Well, not in 2012, but that feels a little low. Hang on. Here's the guy who's why you can't watch this episode in the UK.
Ah.
Population. I don't think I was ever alive at 4 billion. 2006. Yeah, it was almost 7 billion in 2006.
She's ominous again. Right up against the window.
Stop touching your window! God, it's like she's a child who doesn't know how hard it is to clean a window. Well, I say hard. It's like as a child who doesn't know how annoying it is to clean a window. No parking. Wait, those are gates? Oh, they're gates. That makes sense. You know what? It would add. I want a gag now where the Doctor parks and then he exits the TARDIS and he's directly facing like a no parking sign and he just moves the TARDIS. There's a variation of it, you know?
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, Rose is a bit of a dick here. I don't know. As I've said, I've never been a huge fan of Rose, but honestly, I don't know if there's a modern companion I'm a huge fan of. It's just whenever I think it's like, yeah, modern day London girl.
Yeah.
Hey, I was a dad once. There you
Yeah.
go. Let's remember that for when you're the 15th Doctor. Not I'm going to be a dad. I was a dad once. That's funny because that's a guest writer who wrote that line. I think that's the first explicit confirmation we had that the Doctor was a father.
Yeah.
It's
all
still,
of Doctor Who?
Yeah, it's funny to me though that it's in a show where like the character explicitly has a granddaughter that like we still go, well, maybe he doesn't have children, you know? Like, I don't think of the Doctor as asexual, but that's how ingrained the concept is into the character. Which, to be fair, you absolutely can have a granddaughter without, like, a biological child. Probably even without a child, but... And I made sure not to check.
And I left her unsupervised.
Unsupervised. Yeah, I'd leave her alone, too, if my kid was doing that. Wait, no, they're carrying the Olympic torch through here, right? So they just have to wait for Matt Smith to arrive, and then he can fix the problem. He can just remember what he did as the 10th Doctor. What is that centipede thing? Yeah. Man, I mean, kudos to it not being all kids. Was that in her room, or did she, like, see it on the floor?
Found it through space.
Here's Council Man, who I guess isn't worthy to be a friend. You should go to the doctor if your baby's bottom is as smooth as, like, a paved road. This guy should be a companion.
I like him.
Yeah. A companion who's, like, got some traditionally boring job, but always focuses on, like, the least important aspect of the story. Road maintenance is important, but not as important as the disappearances, you know? I like that. Like, they land in, like, some alien war zone, and they're like, oh my god, look at the state of these petunias. You know, and that's their greatest concern.
These guys don't know how to do it.
We're talking over my favorite scene, though. Just goes off on the council.
This is heart-shattering.
Took a council axe from a council van, and now you're taking up a council road. I remember him being more prominent, but I've always liked that line. It is worth saying that's, like, my biggest memory of this episode, though, is... Aw. Council deserves a spaceship, you know? Here you go. Now we gotta cancel. In fact, I gotta delete the live stream. I'm sorry. We got this guy. Funny enough, actually, I think his crime was possessing pictures he really shouldn't have, so... Yeah, that's ironic.
His mom sucks.
I know.
He's awful. There's pencils all over the house. She's not watching her daughter, which is stealing people. She's grabbing a drink from the kitchen.
I also love that they keep broadcasting, and let's pretend for a moment this is a totally fictitious news broadcaster. I really gotta respect the news broadcaster for just like still going on with it. Even Bob's gone. Bob's not gonna help you. Not you too, Bob. Brilliant. Big
There
stadium.
were not 4
man.
billion people in that stadium.
No. It was a big stadium. Did you count?
80,000 spectators, 30,000. That's not even 100. That's a little over 100,000 people.
Yeah. Well, Rose,
Earth.
Rose didn't do too well in school.
She just grabbed another pencil from that bookshelf.
Yeah. It was a thick pencil.
Oh, she is drawing Earth.
Not
I should be a writer.
Africa. I don't know. That sounds really like, oh no, Africa. But it's just funny because it's half the world. Like, she doesn't... I don't think she has to see the people to take it. Like, could she draw her brothers and sisters? Oh, that was an awful UK. It's a wonder this works. Also, Antarctica's not green, Chloe. You know, why don't they just doodle bob this? You know, they just get their pencil out and erase the father. Why are you here?
He's just here. He's just
broke in. He needs that council axe, man. Like, look, if the doctor's not here, it's gotta be me. Still just going, man.
The password's covered by the
bees.
Password
bees.
The question has been answered.
Why not, you know? Wait, why? Okay, she had a drawing of 2 trees. Chloe, trees... Actually, I was gonna say trees are not alive, but I've just remembered that 12th Doctor episode nobody likes. The one about how you're not supposed to take your medication. So I guess, yeah, screw it. Trees are alive.
They're still...
Yeah?
They're still broadcasting this.
Oh, yeah.
But like 100,000 people disappeared.
No, they're still gonna have the Olympics. You only need the athletes. You see, the Finnish athletes were a little late. It was like a daylight savings thing. And so they're actually the only athletes there, the Finnish swimming team. And so they're going to win every event by default. I mean, it makes sense these guys are here because, like, they don't know, right? But, yeah, they're just going to go. Could you imagine if, like, the Olympic Stadium just disappeared? But just for, like, 10 minutes?
Why not just like turn on the stove?
You know, if they kept broadcasting, the news person went with it and like all of that, I would probably also think it's a hoax. Even if I disappeared, I'd be like, well, it clearly wasn't a big deal. But to answer your question, they said like it's not just heat, it needs more than heat. It needs like love or something like that, you know. The real friends were the torches we made along the way. See, now she's got some emotion behind the voice. Like, I think she was supposed to be wooden. Which, to be fair, if you don't like it, that doesn't help. But it's not. I don't think it's just a bad child actor, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, they were aware of when they were drawings, right? Because they moved his drawings?
I think, yeah. And the doctor, you know, he's...
Yeah, so, like, they were alive that whole time. Would you still, like, stay and watch the Olympics? I don't even know. Mean, I don't think I could ever do anything ever again.
Idiot's Lantern watched whatever they were watching.
But that was only, like, a few seconds. Like, you know, maybe it was just some weird thing. TVs are new, who knows? But, like, they seemed to know they were in the paper and, like, presumably could see outside the paper. Some of them were in there for days. So wait, does every drawing Chloe ever drew come to life.
The streets are gonna be full of centipedes and alligators.
No, it was a 10-foot tall centipede.
It was massive and scary. Drawings
What's
of
Jackie
Tim Burton
Tyler gonna
centipedes.
do against a 10-foot centipede? Oh wait, I've read that comment already. Whoops. They just gotta sing like Chicka Chicka Boom Boom and then save the day. You remember Chicka Chicka Boom Boom, right?
Ew.
Yeah? With the
Yeah.
letters in the coconut tree.
Oh yeah.
Well, how come that bird didn't come to life? Also, how come the drawings on her wall still have
Drawings.
drawings?
Hmm.
There we go. Now I can hear you. This is why you need Jackie Tyler. Jackie Tyler
Jackie
would... Yeah. You saw how she handled Pete.
Pinnacle mother in comparison to what we're working with in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, Jackie is a good mom. She's a little... Honestly, I don't even know. Like...
I think she's pretty good.
She kind of, like, pressured Rose about when her job blew up. It was like... Or am I just thinking... I might be thinking of Sylvia. But even then, like, she was a single mother living in a flat in London. Like, Rose's income was probably useful.
Yeah.
So, in fact, Rose running away wouldn't be good.
You're right. This guy's pretty good.
You still got that council axe? Also, man, they cleared out fast from, like, the torch.
Yeah, they also got there fast.
It was that street, right?
Yeah.
Like,
there was no one, then everyone, and then they were gone again.
he's totally off script, but... Good old Bob. Bob's a great character, too. He just, I guess, has a heart attack. Oh, sure, it was that. Matt Smith wouldn't have collapsed.
No, wouldn't have.
God, he's so... Okay, this is a real newscaster. Is he always that dramatic in his broadcasts? Because you know what? If he is, I see why you hired him. You know? Shame about the whole, you know, like, pedophilia and all. But, man, I want a newscaster who presents like this. I almost said like this. But presents exactly like that.
But the doctor came back, and instead of going and finding Rose and seeing if everything's okay, he ran after the Olympic torch.
No, he didn't know. He just wanted to do... I think the doctor poisoned the Olympic guy. Like, that before he came here with Rose, you know? And also, they just let him do that. Because you know what? Screw it. They've just had that kind of day. Oh, okay. He did it because they needed the fire to go home. So I guess it's weird that the Isolus abandoned Chloe when it couldn't actually go home. But you know what? This episode is fine. It's a weird one.
Fine. And he's back already.
It's a little surprising it was written by the guy who wrote The Almost People, which is a pretty good one. I don't know if I really have complaints about that one. The Almost People is a, like, you know... They're clones of the humans, except the doctor actually has, like, the reasonable take on that, like, the clones are exactly the same as the humans up to the point they separated. Now you're two separate individuals. Because the clones have, like, all the memories. They believe they're the originals. And so I don't even have that complaint to make. Oh, wait, I should check this, because I've never done this. Papua New Guinea. Shot put. Okay, I gotta look this up. Papua New Guinea shot put 2012 Olympics. Now, I haven't hit enter, but how much do you want to bet the entire first page is Doctor Who related? First link is going to be a Reddit to Doctor Who.
I can hope.
First link is Wikipedia, second is TARDIS Wiki, third is TARDIS Wiki. The 12-year-old comment about the Doctor being right about that. What is the next episode bad? Yeah, about that. They didn't field anyone in the shot put unless everyone was expecting them to win. There's no way they surprise anyone. You know what? I'm surprised Papua New Guinea was not in the shot put. Then the second comment is like, I had so much money bet on them. Yeah, next episode is Emo Rose is telling us.
Rose.
I think she's actually going to say it. Hang on. Oh, no, she doesn't say it. Next episode's bad. The first line of the next episode is, this is a story. Well, it's bad times. Okay, don't say it's bad.
Okay.
It's in like quality. It's Rose Tyler's final story. I was going to say final episode, but it's a two-parter, so I guess it's not actually. Why is my 3D printer live stream stopped? Oh, because the print stopped. Man, I didn't notice that. That's how much attention I was paying. I could build my war turtle now.
Nice.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like it failed. But no, next time, Army of Ghosts. Well, no, what'd you think? I'm going to ahead myself. What did you think?
I wouldn't say it was the weakest in the season. I don't know what would be. I think I liked it more than I liked School Reunion.
School Reunion does have problems, but for me, there is this like it's got K9. Do you
Yeah,
remember
it's
K9 though? You sure K9 isn't better?
K9 was part of it.
Yeah.
I think like as a new viewer, you know, yeah, I think I'd say that one was one of the weaker ones. This episode I liked. I liked kind of slower. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't necessarily character work. It was just narrative, but it wasn't great either. It was middle of the road. It was fine.
It's not as good as I remember it, which I bet no one has ever said about Fear Her in their life. I might say it's a little bad. It just was kind of slow, but without anything for you to really mull over. Like as I said, the first 26 minutes you could probably make 10 and not really lose anything. It was building atmosphere, but there wasn't really atmosphere to build. Like there wasn't a whole lot you could build. I don't like Sarah Jane all that much. I think she is the like only generic companion after the first Doctor in Classic. It's very much what I was saying. I don't really particularly love any new companion. It's the same thing. It's like she's just some modern day girl, except the modern day is 70s. So I don't really have that nostalgia there. School Reunion isn't particularly strong. It adds this weird romantic angle between Sarah and the Doctor that was absolutely never there. It just is weird. K9, I think even without nostalgia is fun, as you've said. There is fun with seeing K9. I think the K9 bits in School Reunion are better than the entirety of this episode.
And Mickey's tin dog bit was...
Yeah. I think you're forgetting K9. I'd say because of K9 alone, School Reunion's better. But School Reunion's also really well paced. You do get some interesting stuff with the Doctor about how he could like become God after the Time War. He could make everything better. It's not particularly strong. Tooth and Claw is usually the one I might cite as the weak one. I might put it on Fear Her now though. Like Tooth and Claw at least was paced well. It's between this and Tooth and Claw. I think I've always said.
Fear Her's a marker like Space Babies of like any better it'd be a good episode. Any worse it'd be like just like this episode is serviceable.
I don't know. Space Babies does exactly everything it set out to do. It set out to be babies are in space and that's funny and it did that, right? Whether or not that's enough for you is different. I guess this episode did what it set out to do, but I don't really know if it had a goal behind it in the first place, other than just to exist, which it did. Yeah. Okay.
It feels like it feels like a 5 out of 10.
I think the thing with this season, looking at all the episodes in front of me, because you've now seen basically everything.
Yeah.
I think Rose is a companion I'm not super fond of. Like we saw in this episode, the whole thing of like judging the Isolis for like kidnapping people, and it's like it probably should know better, but like refusing to even like see why the Isolis does it. It was all just kind of weird. And I can't even remember if she did like it deserves to be alone forever sort of thing. She might have. That's the problem of talking over the episodes. But I don't know. I've just never really liked her all that much. The 10th Doctor as well, I don't know if he's a particularly strong incarnation. I really have to be weird when I say this because I can't describe it. As you might know, I've ranked all the doctors for a video that'll take ages to do, but I know what the ranking is. I don't have it memorized. I know Tennant. Tennant wasn't my favorite modern doctor. He also wasn't my least favorite, excluding Jodie from that list because obviously. But when I sat down, I expected him to be kind of lower, but he got in this weird place where like I can't actually give a reason for 10 to be lower on the list. But I can't really give a reason for him to like be elevated, other than the fact that I can't think of a reason. You know, like if I can't, he's sort of like he does the Doctor. I don't know. Like you only have 2 doctors so far, but can you kind of see what I'm saying? Like if you think of him compared to Eccleston, who has so much going on with the Time War. I think there's a lot in his performances as well. Like when he gets angry, is something very much in like an only Ninth Doctor way, because he's just got all that rage built up inside of him. Yeah. Maybe it's because Tennant was so early, effectively my first Doctor. I mean, I had Eccleston, but Tennant's there so longer that I kind of think of a lot of his things as default. His sort of semi-exasperated way, you can kind of talk quickly and go through that, was new, actually, to give him credit. I don't think any Doctor had done that before, even in like extended media. But now, like, Matt Smith does it, Jodie does it to an extent. I'm sure Capaldi even has some moments. Ncuti Gatwa does it. It's kind of become the modern thing. So he might be a bit of a victim to his own success. But he's like, I can't really tell you why I don't like the 10th Doctor, because it's not true that I don't like him. Yeah. But I also can't really tell you why I like him, because I feel like I don't really actively like him. When I've heard his Big Finish stuff, which is very little, that it's actually David Tennant playing him, it's kind of very like generic in going through the motions, which, to be fair, especially if we're talking about like 9 stories, modern Big Finish can do that a lot, and modern Big Finish about modern doctors can especially do that. Like this came up with the 9th Doctor for a lot of his stuff for me. So it could just be like the writer of that range or whatever. But he is a weird one. And I think because season 2, there's nothing really going on overarching, right? We have... Actually, do we have? We have Torchwood. That's it. We're referencing Torchwood. Oh, that is the overarching thing.
It's not developing.
Which I don't think we've heard Torchwood for a while.
No, we did.
No, they were in Love and Monsters.
We did last episode. Yeah.
I don't remember why, but yeah. But it's not like Bad Wolf where it's in every episode. It's off and on.
Yeah.
So really, we're just left with the strength of the individual episodes, which by and large isn't particularly high. But like, don't get me wrong, we do get some good ones. But then we're left with the dynamic of Rose and 10, which is like perhaps my least favorite modern dynamic that's not in the 13th Doctor. Although even saying that, like, I don't know, Graham in 13 has some entertainment value. Yaz in 13, I don't like the relationship, but at least there's some, like, there's things going on. I don't know. It's just never done it for me so much. I don't remember how into it I was as a kid either. I think I've become harsher on Rose as I've just seen the wealth of, like, future companions, as I've seen the, like, rut that Rose fits into of the, like, random modern-day girl. Yeah. And then as I've seen the glory that are the classic companions and like how diverse you get, and Leela, Ace, Romana, like some really Jamie, just some amazing people.
Yeah, I need more doctors and companions under my belt to
I'll convince you to come back with Classic Who and somehow get you through Black and White. You know what though? If you liked Fear Her for slow, very slow, not even character work, but just kind of stuff like that. If I got some black and white doctors for you.
Well, it's a fine line to walk.
You ready for Fear Her, but it's 3 parts
agonizing.
long?
Yeah, see, that
Okay.
could kill me.
Now, because some people actually haven't watched Doctor Who, Classic Who like you, it has a reputation for being poorly paced.
Yeah.
And to be fair, there are plenty of stories that are just like, this 6-parter probably could have been 3. But most stories aren't like that. Don't get me wrong, all of them, except like 2 or 3, are going to be like slower than anything in New Who.
Yeah.
But they're not that bad, and I think especially after the black and white era, they're really not that bad. Around, I think, the 4th Doctor, they figure out that 4-parters are great, and then you get like a 6-part season finale and 4-parters, and so they're generally, most 4-parters aren't padded, but even then, plenty of First Doctor stories don't drag, or it's like, the Daleks is a great one. I think it's 8 parts, the first Dalek story. And it's like good. It's moving along, except episode like 6 or 7, I think it is. But then like that's just the one bad episode. And I still think it's worth giving a shot. And of course, unless you're doing it something like YouTube like this, you could always just be like, yeah, this one's not doing it for me, and then leave. Because, there's, other than companions coming and going, there's no continuity. And even then, like, half the time there's not too much story between the departure and the arrival. And if you're not watching missing episodes, well, you're gonna miss a lot of departures and arrivals anyway. But like Alex is loving it. They skipped like half of the first Doctor because they were largely enjoying it. But I do agree, after season 1, the first Doctor does get a bit dragging. But they're really like, we spent a good year or so getting through 2 seasons of the first Doctor, right?
Are we talking Crash?
No, I'm talking about the pacing of Classic Who. And then how long would you say it's been? Maybe like 2 months? And we've already, but no, now we've already done like a season and a half of the second Doctor.
Yeah.
So, it really depends on the era, because we're just finding it so much easier. Like, the second Doctor was the first time Alex has sat down and watched an 8-parter. And I'm like, wow, like, yeah, dang, well done. Because it's, you can get these long stories that are well paced too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's another one. My plan, right, is I think once we'll talk more in like 2 years, but once we finish the 14th Doctor, I think it might be fun to do the movie with you, because I imagine you'd watch the movie. That's like a 90s movie,
Yeah.
That's not going to have the slow pacing things. And then maybe I can get you for some
That's
some classic. Or
the intro.
oh, you'll be like, I'll do it, but only if we watch it backwards. You watch companions leave, and then you go backwards and watch them arrive. That's how we do it. I still haven't figured out. I might not do all of Classic Who, because some of it is just like, because of the pacing error, it can be hard to fill the air, especially if it is only me. Some things are going to be hard, especially in the black and white era. Like, how do I do an 8-parter? Do I have to commit to 4 parts? Do I play it by ear every time? But I also don't really think I want to jump around and just watch like highlights and do whatever.
Oh, okay.
We'll see. It's a 3 years from now problem. Maybe
Yeah,
we
you
just
got
watch like,
time to think.
maybe we watch one of the spin-offs. I don't know. You want to watch the Sarah Jane Adventures? We'll see.
The spinoff. Every time a spinoff comes up on these streams, it's one of those weird, like, what was that one we learned about like a week or 2 ago?
The Sill movie?
I don't know. I feel like there have been multiple occasions where we've learned about abstract spin-offs that you never heard of, and they look terrible.
No, we did learn about something.
Yeah.
I don't remember what, but no, that's the Wilderness Years, because of Doctor Who's rights are weird, and the BBC doesn't own most of the monsters, especially in Classic. It's like the writers who do. So they do it very careful not to say Doctor Who. They made a lot of movies. But no, there are like 3 official spin-offs. Sarah Jane Adventures, which is the kids one, which is probably the best spin-off, because War Between the Land and the Sea hasn't come out yet. Which I'd be surprised if that was better. But anyway, that's good. That's really good. Even as an adult, that's got a lot of great stuff to it. It's basically more Doctor Who, but without the Doctor and aimed at a slightly younger audience. So, like, don't get me wrong, there's still, like, there's an episode that is basically 73 yards, except it's happening to a child.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, like, there's some really, like, I don't necessarily want to say dark, but it doesn't let being a kid show hold itself back. It's just every now and then there's a more direct, like, here's the moral of the episode kind of thing. That's basically it. And the Doctor's barely in it. But there's 10 and 11 have an episode, and Joe Grant is in it for one episode, and K9 is in it, but
isn't it?
There's Torchwood, which is the adult spin-off, which is mixed. I still haven't seen it, but season 3 I've heard is amazing. It is effectively showrun by Chris Chibnall, who you will probably know that name by now. And it's the fairest, probably most common take is it's good, but especially early on, it can lean too much in we're an adult show, therefore, like, you know, blood, sex, and gore just because we're adult. But Chibnall actually has, like, good episodes. And you know where I said you could look at who wrote an episode for 13 and tell how many were going to be good or not?
Yeah.
I don't even notice when Chibnall writes a Torchwood episode a lot.
Wow.
It's, I know, he's, like, a basically totally different person. Sometimes if I know, I can see some Chibnallisms. But...
Such a horrible... Like, if the compliment I got as a writer was, I didn't even
sometimes
realize
I don't even realize you wrote this. Yeah,
that's horrible.
Look, he's not a good writer. Like, I believe that. He can sometimes pull something good out. P.S. is one of the best things ever written for Doctor Who, and is written by Chris Chibnall.
If you put enough monkeys on a typewriter.
Yep, monkeys on a typewriter. No, I mean, I think generally he's pretty good with, like, old white men, which, you know, not the best specialty to have.
No.
But P.S. is, like, a story about an old white guy. If you've never heard of it, it's worth a Google if you've got that far in the show. It's a story. They never made it. I think Stephen Moffat was showrunner. He's like, Chris, this is like one of the best things I've ever made. I've ever read. We don't have the money for it. But there's an animated one where Arthur Duvall, Rory's actor, narrates it. It's a short of basically Rory's dad after Rory and Amy leave the TARDIS, which I'm keeping very vague for spoiler reasons, but it's genuinely amazing. And then there's Class, and no one remembers Class. That's it. Those are the spin-out. Yeah, no one came out in, like, the Capaldi years, and no one watched it. I think it was like a website exclusive. It's apparently not very good. It's apparently really bad. And then its final episode, it's like a massive cliffhanger that actually gets you invested, but it only has one season.
Sounds so enthralling.
And apparently it's also for, like, young adults, and I've heard it falls under the same Torchwood thing of, like, oh, we're young adults, therefore we have adult, therefore we need, like... I don't know what it can get away with, but I'm sure it has everything it could get away with.
Yeah.
I should probably wrap up, really commission a season 3 thumbnail for
you should remember to do this, like, in times that aren't every time we start a stream. I feel like those seem to be the times you remember.
Just every now and then sit down to start a stream and go, oh shoot.
Every time we'll be pre-stream and you'll be like, oh, I
Alex is getting on me too.
It out.
So they were like, hey, you should do some thumbnails. It's because, like, I could use, like, however much I pay them. I don't remember. I don't know. But yeah. Anyway, I should wrap up. Hopefully you see a new thumbnail in 2 weeks, because unfortunately the Christmas special is part of season 3, and I've listened to Wikipedia for whatever reason. They're my rule. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
There we go.
That was a reasonably paced bye-bye.